Hi students, welcome to HSC Chemistry and the Chemical Monitoring and Management video series. This is video number 27 and the last in the series for this particular topic. It's a case study, so I'm going to give you a bit of an idea about the sort of things that you need to include, and I'm going to focus specifically on the Sydney water supply, but obviously you'll want to try and tailor the information that you get in this video to your specific case study. So let's just have a look at what we need to include. When you're looking at your case study of your town water supply, or where does my water come from? Drinking water come from? You'll need to have a look at where the dams are and where the treatment works are that are closest to you. That'll give you a bit of an idea about where your drinking water is coming from and what's actually happening to it along the way. The most important thing you need to be aware of, first of all, is the catchment area, and that's the big area where all of the water is draining in from. So for the Sydney, this would be Warragamba Dam and Lake Burragarang, and the surrounding areas are therefore going to feed water in. Now this is important in terms of considering these sources of contamination that we may get leading into certainly the early stages of our potential, what's going to become our drinking water. So have a look what's around the area of your catchment, what's actually located within your catchment. Is it primarily residential? Is it agricultural? Is it native bushland? Are you likely to have a runoff from fertilizers? Or are you more likely to be having issues associated with animals in the area, with maybe their use of the waterways? Is it something where there may be industry which may be adding things like both thermal pollution but also certain types of contaminants to the water? This is all the consideration based on the catchment area and where your particular catchment area is located. Some of the tests that are important that can be carried out on our water supplies, including total dissolved solids, tests for hardness, and also tests for pH. And this can be done on the water as it's sitting in the dam, which gives us a little bit of an idea about the level of quality of the water before we even do anything to it. One of the problems that we have nowadays is so little fresh water, native water, is actually drinkable. So much of it is contaminated in a number of different ways, so we don't usually just sort of pick water up when we're out walking and drink it. We've got to be a little bit careful about the sort of water that we drink and the potential contaminants that may be found in there. So a couple of basic tests you can do is at least get an idea of the pH, the hardness, the appearance, the turbidity, total dissolved solids, for its saltiness, and so on. Then the purification methods, and again we've looked at this acronym of SAF, CAF, to give us a little bit of an idea about how our water is treated from where it falls and collects as rain to when it actually comes out of our tap. So important screening, aeration, flocculation as we gather together those particles, sedimentation as they settle, and then are filtered out through filtration, and then processes like chlorination, acid balance, and also chemical additives like fluorine in order to improve things like our dental health, which is certainly something that we find in the Sydney water supply. Chlorine is specifically targeting two very important microorganisms, Cryptosporidium and Giardia, and these two have actually had a little bit of history of problem. At one point a warning was issued by Sydney Water to not drink the water supply for a little while as their levels rose above safe levels, but then were pulled back in again. Any other additives which you may find useful to put in, I've included fluorine again just specifically as one of those additives and its purpose, and also any of the others that are used for balancing the pH. So when you're doing your case study, it's very important to identify your catchment area. Where is the water coming from? the purification processes, so how is your water being treated, and also the chemical additives if there's anything being added to the water, and what the purpose of those additives is. Hopefully, if you're not using the Sydney water supply, and if you are, I hope you'll expand a little bit on these points, but if you're not, then there'll be an opportunity for you to have a little bit of a look at what supply is most relevant for you. Thanks for watching.